The silence of Sector 7. In the galactic core, they call it the Great Game. Three massive empires, the Thraxian Shard, the Biolite Swarm, and the United Human Colonies, have spent a century locked in a cold war. We fight over gas giants, we bicker over trade routes, and we posture with planet-killing lasers. But out on the rim, far past the reach of the neon-lit stations and the war rooms of Earth, there is a place where the game stops. They call it Sector 7. And in Sector 7, the only thing more dangerous than the enemy is the silence. My name is Kalen, and I am a linguistic intercept specialist. That's a fancy way of saying I listen to things that don't want to be heard. I was sent to Outpost 992, a jagged needle of a station floating on the edge of a void so dark it feels like a hole in reality. My mission was simple: monitor the Thraxian communications. We suspected they were building a secret shipyard in the dark. But when I arrived, the Thraxian frequencies weren't filled with military codes or logistics. They were filled with static. And then, one by one, the signals just stopped. It wasn't just the Thraxians. The Biolites, a race of hive-mind organisms that literally communicate through bioluminescent light pulses, had gone dark too. For a hive mind, silence is death. I spent 3 weeks staring at my monitors, watching the heat signatures of entire star systems simply vanish. No explosions. No warp signatures. Just a slow, creeping erasure of light. That's when the first refugee ship arrived. It wasn't human. It was a Thraxian scout ship, battered and leaking atmosphere. When I boarded it, I didn't find soldiers ready for war. I found creatures paralyzed by a fear so profound their exoskeletons had turned brittle. Their captain, a decorated veteran of a dozen planetary sieges, gripped my arm with a trembling claw. He didn't ask for a doctor or a mechanic. He whispered a single word in a dialect so ancient it barely registered in my translator: the consumed. He explained that they weren't fighting a war anymore. They were running. Something was moving through Sector 7. It wasn't a fleet, and it wasn't a biological plague. It was a sensory vacuum, a void entity that feeds on the very fabric of communication and consciousness. It consumes the sound of a voice, the glow of a light, and the electrical impulses of a thought. Once it touches a system, that system becomes silent. The people are still there, their bodies intact, but their minds are hollowed out, transformed into echoes of a void that never stops hungering. But as I looked at the Thraxian captain, I realized something that chilled me to the bone. I could still hear him. My sensors were still picking up my own heartbeat. The Biolites were gone because they were made of light. The Thraxians were dying because their communication relied on high-frequency vibrations. But humans, we are different. Our biology is messy, chemical, and grounded in a frequency the void doesn't recognize. We are the only race in the galaxy that can hear the silence without being consumed by it. I am sitting in the dark of Outpost 992 now. The Thraxian captain passed away an hour ago, not from wounds, but from the sheer weight of the quiet. Outside the viewport, the stars of Sector 7 are blinking out like dying embers. The void is here. I can feel it pressing against the hull of the station, a physical weight trying to crush the very idea of me. I've opened a wideband transmission back to Earth. I'm not sending military secrets. I'm sending this recording. I'm sending the sound of a human heart. If you can hear this, it means we are the galaxy's only hope. Not because we have the biggest guns or the fastest ships, but because we are the only ones who can stare into the absolute nothingness and still find something to say. The empires are falling. The Thraxians are gone. The Biolites are dark. Sector 7 is silent. But as long as the signal is live, the void hasn't won. Prepare yourselves. Don't look for ships in the sky, listen for the gaps in the noise. And for God's sake, keep talking. Don't let the silence take you. Subscribe to this frequency if you want to know how to survive the quiet. I'll keep broadcasting as long as I have breath in my lungs. If you're out there, tell someone you love them. Make some noise. Because the dark is listening, and it hates the sound of our defiance. Watch the next log. I'm going to show you how we fight back against a ghost. Stay loud, Earth. Stay loud.